Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got Joe Rogan talking about Joe Biden's contempt, hatred, some people might even say, President Trump, in fact, for Kamala Harris. And I know that sounds weird, but let me break this whole thing down for you. We got Joe Rogan talking about it. Then I have Tucker Carlson, who interviewed someone who is well-versed in Biden and the Biden family. She talks about it as well. Then we're going to go over things like Biden wearing the MAGA hat. We're going to go over things like Jill running a cabinet meeting. We're going to go over things like Biden actually throwing Kamala Harris under the bus. And then we're going to end it off with President Trump doing what he does best, just sticking it to Kamala Harris. It's absolutely amazing. We're going to have 2 clips of Trump at the end. Make sure you catch that. But let's start off with the Joe Rogan clip first. Shane Smith, ladies and gentlemen. A fall from grace. Sad to see.
And now you're right. There are agendas. So my whole thing is like I'm an immigrant, but I'm non-political. I'm literally serious. I believe in the game. I like the game. I like watching the game, and that's why I say like I like to take a look. Like, okay, there's this whole thing going on over here where the status quo doesn't change, and I think you and I are like, look, that's what has to change over there. That's the real power over there.
Yeah.
This for me becomes, and it's funny because this is like, I don't know what I'm showing up myself. I don't know what this election is, 53, 54, something like that. The 54, 56. 50.
It's pretty close.
It's around there somewhere.
It fluctuates depending on what
So we're on
polls.
season 53.
Right.
And that's why you have to have the craziness. You have to have 2 assassination attempts. You have to have Biden. By the way, Biden has to be kicked out mid-election. And we're going to get so like you're like, oh, season 53, the Fonz is jumping the shark, but the shark's being eaten by piranhas.
Not only that, Biden's wearing a MAGA hat. Like this.
But that's like, look.
Can I pause you for a second? Because Jamie, you brought something. No, you didn't bring it up. Somebody else brought it up. Sean brought it up to me. Was there some sort of a physical altercation between Jill Biden's people and Kamala Harris's
There's
people?
been reports about this stuff on Twitter, but like it's just like
Who
Twitter
knows if
reports.
it's true,
You know,
yeah.
I haven't seen anyone show pictures or quotes. It's just like a Twitter account saying stuff like that.
What
But I
is
can
it?
check.
A good Twitter account?
I don't
There's
remember.
a few people I follow where I know they're full of because they just want to see nonsense.
I like it.
And I just go, what is this take?
But it's kind of good.
It's like it's a lot of the Michelle Obama has dick. Like that does.
yeah.
There's so many of
There's
them.
so many of them. But I love memes. Like, and
Oh my God, I love
fucking love memes. And
I
how
love them.
fast and hard. You want to talk about creativity and art? Like some of them are so good and
so
so
quick.
artistic and so quick. You're like, how the did they do that one? Like I love it. Love it.
and there's it's so inappropriate, and that's what's fun about it is because like, you can never kind of say you
But
can
it's
never
true,
say
like,
this.
Yeah. But I'm like,
Yeah, I'll say this to Jamie so he knows what we're talking about.
yeah.
It's just like
So I'm just, but like it's like there's so many of them now, and so anyway, that's like I was during
It's like, I don't know if that's true.
during COVID.
oh well, this guy's pretty legit.
Right, but it just says per White House official. Which
How do you say his name? Posobiec.
Also,
How do you say his name?
I don't know.
Posobiec.
Posobiec.
But this guy's pretty legit. There was a physical altercation between Jill and Kamala staffers in the White House after Joe's press room last week began with accusations the Bidens were undermining Kamala deliberately per White House official. Well, it does seem like he's doing that. Like when he called that press conference, he hadn't called any press conference. So he decides to call a press conference in the middle of a national emergency.
So he's out.
Yeah, and he's out, and
He's out.
everyone knows, but he's still the president, so
He's still
he
the
can
president.
call
Yeah,
a press
yeah, yeah.
conference.
He's
So he
still the
decides to do
president.
that. The wearing the MAGA hat. Like, look, there's no way they're happy they got kicked out, and Jill did not want him to step down.
Right.
She started taking cabinet meetings.
Right.
Like, who?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Who elected you?
Yeah.
Can I do it? Let me do it. Let me do it. I'm not elected either. Let me just sit in, find out what's going on with these people. What are you talking about? How are you running a cabinet meeting?
But
You're
hold on.
just married to the guy that's the president.
But that's the whole thing too, because she sat at. Because I've sat in that room. Like you can go and you can sit in the room.
yeah,
with
but
she-
he wasn't there.
yeah, he was. But I don't think she was running the cabinet meeting.
Because that's what I'd heard.
Yeah, that's what people say because there's a picture of her there, but she's not running the
Why
cabinet.
do you want to ruin a great
Sorry.
story? This is fun. It's fun if she's running
there
it.
you go.
If she, I hope
right.
she's running it. I hope she's boss
There
telling
you
everybody
go.
what
I mean,
to do.
The thing about it is
I'm married to
if
the guy
you-
president
well,
for one
actually,
more month.
If you want to look at like the greatest time of the Republican Party when Reagan was president, it was his cabinet. His cabinet was exceptional, and because he had dementia, but his cabinet was
Not initially, he did.
not initially, but later on. But his cabinet was running America. It was great.
Right.
So you're saying, like, the cabinet should run America. I'd rather have the cabinet run something of professionals, people who are like designed to do that, rather than one person who's going to go, yes, no, yep, that's great. They're the Queen of England, and they're supposed to be the Queen of England.
Yeah. Do you think his dementia was convenient?
Whose?
Reagan's?
You know what? Forget about Reagan. Think about Biden. You think what's going on with Biden is convenient? Maybe he was just like, I'm dropping out. They're like, you're the one. You're supposed to bring in the communist regime. And he's like, it's a little too much. I don't want that in the history books. I don't remember what's going on. You know, then he falls up a bunch of stairs. I don't know where I am. What's your name? Kamala? I've never met a lady like you before. I've never been to India. I hope to visit one day. He just walks off. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you never know. You never know. But can we just go back to Shane Smith real quick? Hey, his cabinet was exceptional. You know? In fact, you know what? I would like a bunch of people who weren't elected to office to be running the country. I would like to vote for one person and then have that person just be there and have a bunch of people in the background just running things without me knowing. Hey, what are you talking about? What happened to Shane Smith? Oh, if you're young, you got to go back like 12 years and watch some of Shane Smith's stuff. He used to be a wild boy. He used to be great. Now he's talking about the deep state. He's like, I wish the deep state would just take over right now. I mean, if every single president had dementia, it'd be great if the deep state would just take over. What are you saying, Shane? He's like, oh, let's do away with elections. I'm non-political. What? What is going on with this guy? So sad to see. I'm telling you, I used to look up to this guy. I really did. Let's go on to the Tucker Carlson clip. Ladies and gentlemen, she's sitting down with Miranda Devine. She knows so much about the Biden family. It's actually scary. Listen to this clip of her talking. Let me make sure I'm not listening to it on triple speed. Let's go.
So what exactly happened to Joe Biden? Is he still, I mean, he has escaped any punishment for the many crimes that you've detailed at some length. And I don't think that's overstatement to say. You've detailed the crimes of Joe Biden. He's never been punished, never will be, I don't think. Is he still running the country?
Was he ever running the country?
Well, that's right, of course.
Yeah. I mean, if you saw him in 2020 in, on the campaign trail, basically in Iowa and New Hampshire, it was obvious that he was cognitively shot. He'd have to have Dr. Jill lead him across the stage to make a stupid speech. He had teleprompters dragged into tiny town halls because no one was interested in him, just to do basic stump speeches that any other politician could do in their sleep. So it was amazing that things were rigged and that people like Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg just agreed to step aside for him. But I guess he was the only palatable available candidate that they had that they could pretend was a moderate to the American people. And so, but I think with Joe Biden, sort of a mystery. Everyone now is saying, oh, he's senile. But I think with all these like cognitive decline problems, it sort of waxes and wanes. And remember, he had those aneurysms back in, I think, the 80s. He had a couple of pretty serious brain bleeds.
I remember very well.
And brain operations. So you don't know how that factors in. And because I know people and foreign sort of heads of state who have met with Joe Biden behind closed doors for extended periods in Washington, D.C., from two different countries, and they said he was completely lucid. This is halfway through his presidency. And I'm going, come on, no way. You can tell me, it's off the record. No, they said. No, absolutely. He was compos mentis. He was running the agenda. Everyone around him, like Antony Blinken, was deferring to him. He only had like a talking points on a piece of paper that he referred to occasionally, but he was definitely in charge. So that's the good Joe Biden. But then someone else I spoke to who was there at one of those G20 or G8 summits in Cornwall in England, said that, and remember there was footage of Joe Biden sort of wandering around aimlessly and looking lost. And apparently he was completely out of it there. He was, goosing Boris Johnson's wife and just acting very inappropriately. And so I think that jet lag and, the time of day when they can't quite control his environment, that the senility sort of creeps in. But he still has lucid moments and maybe long moments. And we saw that every time he had to do a big set piece, except the debate against Donald Trump, when it almost seemed like they let him out without a safety net, late at night when he'd been doing all this traveling. And it was almost like he was set up to fail. And I think now he probably, he's had sleep. He hasn't had to travel as much. He's vacationing all the time at his beach house. So I think he's probably in the best cognitive shape he's been in for a while. And he seems to be pretty lucid. When you see him out giving speeches, when he's undercutting Kamala Harris, as he did twice in the last few weeks, when he said she picked a fight with Ron DeSantis over the hurricane, and Joe Biden just seamlessly comes in and says, oh, Ron DeSantis is a great guy. I talk to him all the time. When he cut in, she was going to do a big speech in Detroit where she was going to take credit for ending the longshoremen's impending strike. And Joe Biden, just that moment, decides to make an appearance in the Washington, the press room for the first time ever. And of course, all the cameras cut from Detroit straight to Joe Biden. And he didn't have much to say other than to say that he and Kamala Harris were joined at the hip, that we were singing from this, we're on the same page, and she's trying to turn the page. So I think that and there's been reporting from behind the scenes that he is angry that Kamala Harris is her campaign's trying to distance her from him and throwing him under the bus and trying to reject Bidenomics. She went to, I think, Pittsburgh and gave this economic speech in which, either Pittsburgh or Chicago, in which she didn't mention Bidenomics. She did not pay tribute to Joe Biden for the fabulous economy that he's given everyone. So he was angry about that apparently, and Dr. Jill's angry as well.
Do you think it would be Kamala Harris has got to be as controlled as Joe Biden was, correct?
Same people. They're same people. You saw there was a letter like the Dirty 51 letter. They got 251 people from the national security establishment. Some of them the same as the Dirty 51, about 8 or 9 of them were the same, including Leon Panetta. And they're just saying that Kamala Harris is the most competent commander-in-chief that we could have, far superior to Donald Trump. And she's so unworthy of that. Incredible that these people would put their reputations on the line.
Leon Panetta, former CIA director, former congressman from California, kind of an idiot, I can say, since I know him. Hard to believe he ran CIA, but he is telling us that Kamala Harris is the most qualified person to be president of the United States.
Yeah. Yeah, far superior in every way to Donald Trump.
But if you'll say that, then you'll say anything. Like that reality doesn't matter to you.
Like that Hunter Biden's laptop is Russian disinformation. They just lie, and they get away with it, and they're treated like, eminent people.
Man, amazing, absolutely amazing. Yeah, I like what you were saying at the beginning. He's very lucid. He has it together. He just needs a 4-week nap. That's all he needs. That's all. You know what? And that's how I feel sometimes too. It's like, I'm a little groggy today, forgetting things a little bit. Come back in 1 month. I'm going to lay in bed for a month straight. I'll be right as rain. Just don't even worry about it. Or better yet, he wakes up. That's what he does. He goes back and forth from dementia. Can you imagine? He's just like walking around. All of a sudden, he just wakes up. Oh my God. I'm supposed to be, where are we right now? I'm supposed to be campaigning. Sir, Kamala is running for president now. Oh my God. What? Oh my God. The maid? The Indian one? She's black now. Oh my God. How long have I been out? Get Donald Trump on the phone quick. I got to save America. He gets Trump on the phone. Donald, I hate you to death, but oh my God, something terrible's happened. Kamala's taking over, and I need cookies. You have cookies and ice cream by any chance there? Who's this? Is this Hunter? Bo? Is it Bo? Trump's just like, you were so close. Joe, we'll talk later. He just hangs up on him. You know what I mean? Oh, man. He just goes in and out. That's nice to know. That's not scary at all. He's just the president. That's fine. That's fine. The president is all good. He's probably in the best shape ever. He just needed to take a nap for 6 weeks. 6 weeks? Who was running the country? Never mind who was running the country, okay? He just needed a 6-week nap. He's awake now, and he can talk to you for 5 minutes. Oh, that's terrifying. Is that worse than having Vladimir Putin run your country? I don't know. What is worse? Because, everybody looks at Putin. He's a dictator, right? You know what I mean? Like, he's not getting out of office. That's never happening. Or a president that fades in and out of dementia. And on top of that, when he's on top of his game, he destroys the country. Oh, I don't know what's worse. I'm not sure, actually. Oh, man, I'm kidding. At least Joe Biden is within America. He's, actually, I don't know what's worse. I was going to say Joe Biden's not worse, but I can't tell. But let's get into the rest of this stuff. We'll start off with something that Joe brought up. He was talking about Jill running a... Is she actually running? This is what he was talking about.
The fact
right
that
here.
sometimes the White House...
So this is what he's talking about right here. She's at the head of the table. There's a bunch of people listening to her. Now, I can say that there was something she was addressing, and that's why. And if you can see here, if I freeze right there, that's Joe Biden right there. So she's at the head of the table. Joe Biden's in there. It could also be seen, there are a lot of camera people, could be seen that this is the head of the table. I'm not really sure. All in all, my wife's not here. Just saying. I just do podcasts. She's taking care of the baby somewhere. She's not stepping in for me or anything like that. But she might, if I had dementia and I wasn't actually running this podcast and it was actually a deep state front, then she might actually step in for a little while. I'm just saying. And Trump had a lot to say about that. Let's get right into that.
By saying, and him, because I don't know. I got to add him. I don't know. Is he still the president? I'm trying to figure it out. I hate to waste the time by saying, and him, because I don't know. Is he the president? Because yesterday his wife took over the cabinet meeting, right? Said, I'm going to ask my wife to take it. Hasn't had a cabinet meeting like in 2 years. And yesterday they finally had it. And he said, I'm going to let Jill handle it. We will manage. A lot of things are happening there. A lot of bad things are happening. I got to add.
I will say, in Joe's defense, it was 1 year that they haven't had a cabinet meeting where the full cabinet came together. It wasn't 2 years. It was only 1 year. Okay? Don't worry. Still the greatest country in the world by far. It was only 1 year. But who knows what was actually going on in this scene. She was addressing something and then it was supposed to be thrown to someone else. But just the sight of her being at the head of the table like this, it's off-putting for anyone who voted for Joe Biden. Actually, probably not, because those people are just like, yeah, women's empowerment, and his wife should. She should be at the head of the table. She's a lady. Now let's get into the other thing that Joe Rogan was talking about. This is actually, okay, aside from Trump about to be elected, okay, about to actually step into the White House once again. Aside from that, this is my favorite moment of 2024, okay? And I had a baby in January, okay? I'm just saying, it's close. It's close. Both bring me joy, I have to say. Just check this out.
Trump hat, I'll give you my presidential hat. Presidential seal on it.
You want to autograph it?
Oh, sure, I'll autograph it.
Huh?
Yeah.
You remember your name?
I don't remember my name. I'm slow.
You're old part. You're an old part.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm an old guy.
And you're an old part, right?
I know you would know about that.
What?
About being old.
Oh, I know. All right, I'm a young timer. He reminds me of the guys I grew up with. There's always one in the neighborhood. Well, I'm the only one. There you go, man. I need that hat. You want my autograph? Hell no. You know my name. Come on. I ain't going that far. Yeah, I said you would do a selfie. There he goes.
Come on.
Hey, I'm proud of you now. You old fart. Huh? Just remember, no eating dogs and cats. Hey, they're good. Thank you. They're good. Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I gotta say that was a good interaction by Joe Biden there. Threw on the MAGA hat. It's just fabulous. There's nothing better. I should make a shirt of this. Look at that. He put on the hat. And a lot of people, they look at that and they're just like, well, he just put on the hat, whatever. But everybody who knows, like Tucker and Miranda that were talking, Joe Rogan, everybody knows there has to be a little bit of hate for Kamala Harris. I mean, she was the woman who called him racist during the debates, suggested that he was a segregationist. Then he gets forced to have a woman of color be his vice president. He chooses her. And then into his presidency, before he drops out, she's already looking at vice president picks. Her cabinet already started doing that before he even left the race. You know what I mean? And then they get into this situation where there's this coup type thing, and she's the last threat because she'll invoke I believe it's the 25th Amendment or 24th. I'm a little cloudy on that. But, you know, you can't not have a little bit of animosity towards a person like that. And then he gets on the plane and he's like, I'm rethinking my life. He's like, I'm keeping the hat. I'm keeping the hat. Gets on the plane. See, those MAGA hats give you power. That was the first time he got up the stairs like that. You see what happens? You go ahead, grab you a MAGA hat. You got a different source of power with you, boy. Look at that. Now, this is the whole thing they were talking about with Kamala Harris versus DeSantis, and Joe Biden steps in and doesn't side with Kamala. Now, this is how it all started. Kamala calls out Ron DeSantis.
NBC is reporting Governor DeSantis is ignoring your calls on hurricanes, resources, and help. How does that hurt the situation here?
You know, moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
Now, the thing about that is, as always with Kamala Harris, it either sounds incoherent or it sounds nice. And that sounds nice. But the thing about Ron DeSantis is he's a great governor. He knows how to handle situations. And who was actually playing the political games was Kamala Harris. She was pushing herself into that situation. Ron DeSantis had it handled. He's dealt with this before. He's the governor of California. He knows how to handle hurricane situations. He knows exactly what he's proven this time and time again. When Texas had a problem with the border, he helped there. Nobody asked him to do it. He just did it. He knew what to do. In this situation, he knows what to do. This happens to his own people. It has. And when he sees it happen somewhere else in the country, he knows how to act right away. And this is what Joe Biden actually had to say about that whole thing. I got it on triple speed because that's how I work.
Of crises that the country has been facing over the past several days with the hurricane, with the port strike, with the situation in the Middle East. Can you talk about how your vice president, who is running for the presidency, has worked on these crises and what role she has played over the past several days?
Well, I'm in constant contact with her. She's aware we're singing from the same song sheet. She helped pass all the laws that are being employed now. She was a major player in everything we've done.
including passage of legislation which we were told we could never pass. And so she's been, and her staff is interlocked with mine in terms of all the things we're doing.
Remember that the next time you hear Kamala Harris talking about how they're so separate from the horse's mouth. And you know what? Again, it goes back to that animosity, right? He's not he's not Trump. You know what I mean? No other politician has the guts to be like Trump, but he'll do it in his own way. He has that smile. He's saying, hey, staff is intertwined. All the laws that you're seeing, because he knows people are complaining about the laws, about the border. He's like, hey, all those things, that's her too. He's upset, but he just can't go about it in a certain way. And then all of a sudden, the tag team that I did not see happening in 2024 clotheslines Kamala Harris. Ron DeSantis gets at her as well. Not playing games.
She has no role in this process. And I've been dealing with these storms in Florida under both Trump and Biden. Neither of them ever politicized it. And in fact, all the storms I've dealt with under this administration, although I've worked well with the president, she has never called in Florida. She has never offered any support. So what she's doing is she's trying to inject herself into this because of her political campaign. So as the governor here who's leading this, I don't have time for those games. I don't care about her campaign. Obviously, I'm not a supporter of hers, but she has no role in this process. And so I'm working with the people I need to be working with. We're leveraging the resources I need to be leveraging. And for her to try to say that my focus should be on catering to her rather than worrying about my own people just shows she doesn't understand what it means to respond to these natural disasters.
Jeez, that is the politicians get the F out of my face. That's exactly what he just said. And he's 100% right. Zero to add to what he just said. She doesn't understand. Not at all. That's why when you saw her talking about FEMA, she was reading off of a script because she doesn't understand how to act in these situations. And all she wanted was to just get on the phone with DeSantis and say some things. You know, like when you're in a car and you're about to turn left and then the person next to you says, yeah, go ahead and turn left. And you're like, turn in left. What's wrong with you? Then you're about to park it. Yeah, go ahead and park right there. Buddy, hey, I got the steering wheel. I'm good. I know what I'm doing. You ever had that before? That's exactly what she was going to try and do. She was going to try and tell him to do things that he was already doing. And this is what Biden had to say about it also.
Mr. President, as far as everything that you like to do. The governor of Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday. And I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call. So I don't know. There was a rough start in some places, but every governor from Florida to North Carolina has been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledged what this team is doing. And they're doing an incredible job. But we got a lot more to do.
Jeez. Kamala Harris thrown under the bus, right under the tires too. He didn't even try to throw her in the middle. He just went right for the tire path, threw her right in there because she's talking about Ron DeSantis not being able to be a leader. And Biden literally just X'd all that out. It's wild to see. And of course, we have it straight from Trump's mouth. And again, it's one of those things that you hear Trump say and you're like, he's just talking. And then you hear more and more and more and you're like, wow, this guy hit the nail on the head.
When this weak, pathetic man that you saw at a debate just a few months ago, that if he weren't in that debate, he'd be running instead of her. She got no votes. He got 14 million votes. What you did, you talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her. But he got 14 million votes. They threw him out. She got 0 votes. And when she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed. And now she's running. I don't understand it, but I'm okay with it because...
Nah, I don't understand it, but I'm okay with it. Look at her face throughout the whole thing. She knows. She's like, yeah, whatever. He hates me. So what? So what? He hates you too. So what? What's the big deal? He hates all of us. Who cares? Trump says it again. He goes into it a little deeper here.
Take him out and they give me another one. That's never happened before. It's like a palace coup. And he doesn't like her. He hates her. I think he hates her as much as he hates. Yeah. I think Biden hates me. He hates me a lot, but I think he hates her maybe as much or more than he hates me. Is that possible? I don't know. Hard to believe, right? He can't stand her. And then they take him out and they.
Oh my God. I will miss Trump not being in politics, man. I will miss it. It should be mandatory that there should always be one person exactly like this in politics. He's amazing, just amazing. But let me know what you guys think. I think Trump is 100% right. Miranda Devine hit the nail on the head. Joe Rogan sees it as well. I think, how could you not have a little bit of hatred towards somebody who took away your second term? Possibly. I mean, he was on the path to losing to Trump, but so is she. So it's like, I had to step down. There's no explanation as to why. I mean, the explanation to why he stepped down is because he's fine. What does that even mean? So, I don't know. I would be mad. And Jill's mad. And for sure Hunter's mad. Hunter's like, I would have went on another 4-year binge. I would have been getting presidential pardons the whole way through. Now you're going to take that away? He's like, I got to go into the holding cell with the normies? Hunter's down bad now because of this. He'll get one pardon from his father, and that'll come in the next few weeks, I think. I think it'll come. November is right around the corner. It's probably going to come in the next few days. He's going to get pardoned. But yeah, I think they hit the nail on the head. I think he doesn't like Kamala. I think that's one thing that we all have in common with Joe Biden. That, and we all like ice cream. Who doesn't like ice cream? Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, helps the channel tremendously. And other than that, I'm out.